my dance, make it hurt.
My name is Isaac Feiner. I live in Gothenburg in the southwest of Sweden. I first moved here to the city when I was 19 to study at Chalmers. It's one of the most famous technical universities in Sweden, and I had my goal was to get a Master of Science degree in something called Industrial Economics and Management. So I'm an engineer by trade. I currently work for a Swedish software company, and we are developing software for those companies who are building and operating fiber optic networks to deliver internet. My wife, who is also an engineer, and she works for Volvo Trucks, not the cars company, but the one making the big trucks. She got an opportunity to work at a Volvo Trucks plant in Virginia, and that was perfect because, as I said, in my job, our company has been expanding into the US market, and it was a fantastic opportunity to get me there to build our US part of the company, hire more people, and of course work more closer to the customers. So our family, we've got 3 kids. We moved to the United States in 2019 and worked there for 2 years. We moved here to Gothenburg from the US a little over a year ago, moved back, and it was a fantastic experience to work and live in the US, but it's also great to be able to compare the two. And there are definitely a lot of similarities actually between the two countries. For once, if you know how to speak English, you will do as well in Sweden as in the US because everyone speaks English, so that is easy. But in work, one big difference is that in the US, it's much more of a hierarchical structure. You know, the boss makes the decisions, you don't question the boss, the decisions flow down and you do as you're told. Of course, there are differences between companies and so on, but in general, that is sort of the structure. In Sweden, Sweden as a society is very equal and very open, and that is also reflected in work. So it's a very flat organization, and it's very collaborative, and it's a lot of teamwork. I am a manager. I have a group of people I manage. It's very interesting to compare the differences in how you work in the US and in Sweden, because in Sweden it's really, well, you have the final say and you present the decisions, but most of the time the decisions is made within the group, and it's a collaborative effort. So that is something I enjoy about Sweden compared to the US, because I think to use everyone's skills and knowledges combined, that will make a much better result. On the family side, living with the family in the US, living with the family in Sweden, there is also a big difference. One of the major differences is for the kids, because in the US, we lived in a pretty small town, so I would say it was very safe, but still the kids have very little freedom. They are driven everywhere by their mom and dad. It's very controlled, and the kids have very little own freedom. In Sweden, it's extremely safe. Of course, bad things happen in Sweden, but in general, it's very, very safe. And our kids, when they came back here to Sweden, they loved it, because now they could go to their friends by themselves, they could ride their bikes or just walk, they can take the tram, they go to school by themselves, they go to friends' houses, they go to soccer practice, and they are more independent, and that makes them grow, and they have more freedom. And it's also for us as parents, it's great. You see them grow, and also you can spend time on something else than just driving them around like crazy, like an Uber driver. um, so that's different. And also, of course, that in Sweden we have a more of a socialistic society. So you pay your taxes, but then you don't have to worry about much else, right? You have free healthcare, free dental care, at least the basics, and for kids. Schools are always free, very good schools. And then also university is actually free. That is a huge difference between the United States. In the US, you got to start saving for your kids' education when they're born. In Sweden, you don't have to carry it all. So I spent 5 years at the best technical university in Sweden, one of the best in the world, and it cost me nothing. So that is those I would say are the biggest differences comparing the US to Sweden. It's actually a very successful company when it comes to technology companies, or companies that has sort of an engineering background. And there are so many more companies than you would think about, actually, and a lot of great technological innovations come from Sweden. So as an engineer, I would say that Sweden is probably one of the most exciting countries to work in. First of all, it's a great work environment where everyone is welcomed, and as I said, it's collaborative, it's fun, everyone are listened to. And also, we are, even though we're so small, we work globally. Or maybe it's because we're so small. Our own market is tiny, so we have to think big. We have to think export. We have to think global. And therefore, you work, even though you're in Sweden, you develop products and solutions for the world and different cultures and different countries. So working as an engineer in Sweden doesn't mean you sit in Sweden and that's what you do. Most of the time you work across the globe and you travel, and it's very exciting. And being as innovative and in the forefront as I think we are, many of our companies are, it's also a fantastic opportunity because you're cutting edge. You're doing the newest, the latest, what will be the big things in the future. So when it comes to, in many areas, we are world leaders, or at least in the top, and yeah, that's why you want to work as an engineer in Sweden.